My girlfriend looked at me across the table at her company gala and said, "Ethan is comfortable, but he is not exactly climbing any ladders." Her friends laughed. I stayed quiet and smiled like it was a joke. What happened next changed everything I thought I knew about who she was. I'm Ethan, 34, and I have been with Lauren for 18 months. When we met, things felt easy, natural. She was a coordinator at a national media company. I worked in operations consulting for logistics firms, and neither of us was trying to impress anyone. We would meet at coffee shops on Sunday mornings, talk about books. Neither of us had time to finish, and split the bill without thinking about it. She never asked how much I made. I never volunteered. But about 7 months ago, Lauren got promoted to brand partnerships manager. Suddenly, she was attending events with investors, executives, people who measured success in square footage and car brands. Her social circle shifted. She started spending weeks with weekends with Bryce, this sales guy who talks about income, like it is a sport, and Megan, who is married to a real estate developer and casually drops property values into every conversation. Then there is Qley, a lifestyle influencer who posts photos captioned with things like "never settle for average men." Lauren started saying things, small things, like how I should think bigger or invest in my personal brand. She would suggest I wear different clothes to her work events, or ask if I had ever considered moving into executive roles. When I said I was happy with my work, she would get this look disappointed. Like I had admitted I had no dreams. 3 weeks ago, she invited me to her company's annual gala, black tie, downtown hotel ballroom, full of people whose LinkedIn profiles probably have more followers than I have contacts. She asked me to come, but also warned me to just blend in. I asked what that meant. She said, "Don't talk too much about work. It is not the crowd for it." I should have asked more questions. The night of the gala, I showed up in a decent suit. Nothing flashy. Brooks Brothers charcoal gray, the kind of thing that blends in at events like this. Lauren was wearing a burgundy dress that probably cost more than my monthly car payment, and she looked nervous when I arrived. Not excited nervous, worried nervous. She introduced me to people as my boyfriend, Ethan, and then would immediately pivot to someone more interesting. No context about what I do. No attempt to include me in conversations. At one point, her friend group circled up near the bar, and I was standing there holding a gin and tonic I didn't want. While they talked about vacation homes in Scottsdale and comparing Tesla Model S versus Model X configurations, Bryce looked at me like he had just remembered I was standing there. "So what do you do, Ethan?" I said I consult for logistics companies, operations, supply chain work, efficiency audits, process optimization, that kind of thing. He nodded slowly. The way you do when you are trying to figure out if someone's worth talking to. His Rolex caught the light as he adjusted his cufflinks. "So like salary, or are you partner-level equity stake, or just billing hours?" Before I could answer, Megan cut in, "Bryce, not everyone can be in sales." She smiled at me like she was being kind, like she was protecting me from his bluntness. There is nothing wrong with stable work. Some people prioritize comfort over risk, security over growth. Lauren laughed, not loudly, but enough that everyone heard it. She said, "Ethan's comfortable, but he is not exactly climbing any ladders." Then she added, almost as an afterthought, "which is fine. Not everyone needs to be ambitious. Someone has to keep the lights on, right?" Qley raised her glass and the ice clinked against the crystal. "I respect that. Settling takes confidence too. Knowing your ceiling and accepting it." I stood there, nodding along like it was funny. Like I wasn't being quietly dissected in front of a sit there. This idea that I was some guy coasting through life with no goals, no drive, nothing worth mentioning. I stayed another hour. I smiled through conversations about markets and quarterly performance and venture capital. No one asked me another question. At one point, I noticed an older man across the room watching me. He was standing with Lauren's senior leadership, holding a glass of scotch, and he kept glancing my way like he recognized me. I didn't recognize him. I left early, told Lauren. I wasn't feeling well. She barely looked up from a conversation with a vice president. When I got home, I sat in my car for 20 minutes trying to figure out what I was supposed to feel. Angry, embarrassed, I wasn't sure. What I did know was that Lauren had made a choice that night. She chose how to present me, chose not to defend me, chose to let her friends believe I was exactly what they assumed, and I would let her. Maybe I should have said something. Maybe I should have corrected them, explained who I actually am, what I actually do. But here is the thing, I wanted to see what she would do when she thought I was ordinary. Turns out, Ordinary wasn't enough. I'm not sure what happens now. Part of me thinks I should just walk away. Another part thinks maybe I am overreacting, that this is just how her world works and I need thicker skin. I don't know, I just keep replaying her laugh. The way she said comfortable, like it was a limitation, like I was a limitation. Was I wrong to stay quiet? Should I have defended myself? Or was this the test I needed to see? Update 1. I didn't expect this many responses. Thank you. Some of you told me to run. Others said I should have spoken up at the gala. A few suggested I was playing games by not being up front. I hear all of it, but I need to tell you what happened after I posted because it got complicated fast. The morning after the gala, Lauren called me, not texted, called at 8:15 on a Sunday, which she never does. That should have been my first sign. Something was different. She was upset, not apologetic upset, frustrated upset. The kind of anger that comes when you think someone has made you look bad. She said I had embarrassed her by leaving early, that people noticed that her boss had even asked if everything was okay. She said I didn't even try to engage and that I would basically stood there like a statue while important people were trying to get to know me. I asked her if she noticed how her friends treated me. She paused and I could hear her breathing change. Then she said, "Ethan, that is just how they talk. You took it personally." They were joking around. I told her it didn't feel like joking, that she laughed along, that she introduced me like I was a placeholder. She was embarrassed to name that her friend Qley literally used the word settling to describe my career choices. And Lauren had just smiled and nodded. She went quiet for a long time. And then she said something that stuck with me. Maybe you are right. Maybe we are in different places now. Maybe I need someone who fits better into this world I am building. I thought she was breaking up with me. Instead, she said we needed space to think about whether this relationship still made sense. I agreed. We hung up. I assumed that was the end. Then 3 hours later, I got an email, not from Lauren. From Lauren's company. It was from their chief operating officer, subject line, follow-up from Saturday evening. I opened it expecting some generic thank you for attending the gala. Instead, it was a meeting request. They wanted to schedule a call to discuss ongoing acquisition conversations and confirm some details about strategic alignment. Here is the part I haven't mentioned yet, and maybe I should have led with this. My job title is real. I do consult for logistics companies, but I am not just a consultant. I am a co-founder and silent partner in a private equity firm that acquires regional freight and supply chain companies across the Midwest. We stay quiet. We don't list ownership publicly. We don't brand ourselves. We just buy companies, restructure them, and let them keep running under their own names. My net worth is low 8 figures. I live modestly because I learned early that money changes how people see you, and I don't want to be seen that way. 3 months ago, my firm began preliminary acquisition talks with the parent company that owns Lauren's media division. I have been in and out of meetings with their senior leadership. It is not public yet. The deal isn't finalized, but it is real, and it is significant. The older man at the gala, he was one of the executives I would met during negotiations. He recognized me, and apparently after I left, he asked Lauren's cuckoo why one of the acquisition partners was attending as a guest with no acknowledgement. That question triggered the follow-up email. I didn't go to the gala planning to hide who I was. I went because Lauren asked me to come, and I didn't think my professional life was relevant to her social event. But when her friends started dissecting me when she joined in, I made a choice. I stayed quiet. I let her show me exactly how she saw me when she thought I had nothing to offer her world, and now her company knows. Her leadership knows I am not just some guy she is dating. They know I am involved in a deal that could reshape their organizational structure. They know she had no idea who I was. I'm not sure what to do with this. Part of me wants to call her and explain. Another part thinks this is exactly the clarity I needed. She treated me like I was forgettable when she thought I was ordinary. What happens when she finds out I am not? I haven't responded to the meeting request yet. I haven't called Lauren. I am sitting here trying to figure out if I just let the truth play out, or if I owe her a conversation first. What would you do? Update 2: Lauren found out. I don't know exactly how, but my guess is someone at her company said something. Maybe the cuckoo mentioned it in passing. Maybe the executive from the gala asked her directly. However, it happened. By Wednesday afternoon, Lauren knew, and she called me. She was crying, angry crying. The kind that cycles between rage and disbelief. She asked me why I didn't tell her why I let her look like an idiot in front of her colleagues, why I was playing games with her career. I started to respond, but she wasn't asking questions. She was accusing. Then her tone shifted. Suddenly she wasn't angry anymore. She was excited. She said, "Ethan, this changes everything. Do you understand what this means for us?" I asked her what she meant. She said, "You are not just some consultant. You are a partner in a serious firm. You have real influence. Why didn't you tell me? I could have introduced you properly. We could have networked together." I asked her what changed about me in the last 72 hours. She went quiet. Then she said nothing changed. I just didn't understand the full picture. I said, "Lauren, you understood exactly what you needed to. You thought I was ordinary and that wasn't enough for you. Now you think I am successful, and suddenly I am worth rewriting our whole relationship." She tried to walk it back, told me I was being unfair, that she had always cared about me, that she was just trying to push me to be better. She said she had been encouraging growth and that I was misinterpreting her intentions. She even said, "I knew you were smart, Ethan. I always believed in you." I asked her if she believed in me at the gala when her friends called me comfortable, and she laughed along. She didn't answer. Then she said something that made everything clear. "You could have told me. You could have let me show you off. Instead, you made me look like I didn't know who I was dating." We met in person on Thursday, coffee shop, a place called Remedy on 4th Street, neutral ground, where we had had our third date almost 2 years ago. She showed up dressed like she was going to a business meeting. Hair done, blown out and styled, full makeup, navy blazer over a white blouse. She sat down and immediately started talking about how we could move forward strategically. She said things like, "We make sense now and people would take us seriously as a couple. And this could actually be good for both our careers." She even suggested I should attend her next company event, this time with the right introduction, and that we could position ourselves as a power couple in the Midwest business scene. I asked her what the right introduction would sound like. She didn't even hesitate. She said Ethan Ward, co-founder of a private equity firm specializing in logistics acquisitions and supply chain optimization. She had memorized it. She had practiced, probably looked up my firm's website, read through the portfolio companies, maybe even Googled my name to see what came up. I told her that wasn't me, that I don't introduce myself that way, that the whole point of staying quiet, of keeping a low profile, is because I watched my parents' marriage collapse after sudden wealth. My dad sold a software company when I was 12, and within 2 years, every relationship they had changed. Friends started asking for loans. Family members pitched business ideas over Thanksgiving dinner. My mom couldn't tell who liked her for her and who liked her for what she could provide. They divorced when I was 15, and she told me once that she missed being ordinary. That being rich had made her lonely. I told Lauren I had spent 18 months with her trying to figure out if she wanted me, or if she wanted what she thought I could provide. And now I had my answer. The answer was written in every conversation we had since the gala, in every excited mention of strategic positioning. She reached across the table and grabbed my hand. She said, "I want you, Ethan. I have always wanted you," but her eyes were different. She was looking at me the way you look at an opportunity, not a person, an asset. I pulled my hand back and told her we were done. She didn't cry this time. She just stared at me like I was making a business mistake. Then she said, "You tested me, you set me up to fail." I told her I didn't set anything up. I just didn't correct her assumptions, and she had shown me everything I needed to see. I left her sitting there. I don't know if she stayed or walked out right after. I didn't look back. Here is what I know now. The acquisition is still moving forward, but I have removed myself from any direct involvement with her division. I recommended a colleague take over the integration planning. It is cleaner that way, professional, no overlap, but there are consequences I didn't anticipate. Apparently, word got around her company that she had been dating someone involved in the acquisition and didn't know. It made her look either careless or clueless. Her friend group started distancing themselves. Bryce stopped inviting her to events. Megan unfollowed her on social media. Qley posted something vague about knowing your worth that everyone assumed was directed at Lauren. I didn't plan for that. I didn't want that. But I also cannot say it wasn't inevitable. She built her social currency on perception, and perception cut both ways. I am not celebrating this. I am just trying to move forward, trying to remember that the point wasn't to prove anything to her. It was to prove something to myself that I could walk away from someone who only valued me when I looked valuable, that I didn't need to perform success to be worth someone's time. Some of you asked if I regret not telling her sooner. Honestly, because if I had told her, I had never know if she stayed for me or stayed for the idea of me. Now I know, and that is worth more than whatever we had. Final update: Lauren reached out twice after our breakup. The first time she sent a long email about reflecting and understanding she had prioritized the wrong things. The second time, 3 weeks later, she called and asked if we could talk. I didn't respond to the email. I didn't answer the call, not out of spite, just out of clarity. There was nothing left to say. The acquisition closed last month. Lauren's company is now part of our portfolio, but I am not involved in the day-to-day from what I have heard. She is still there, still in her role. But things shifted, not professionally in terms of job security, but socially. Her friend group fractured. The people who used to orbit her status started looking elsewhere. I'm not telling you this because I want anyone to feel sorry for her or think she got what she deserved. I am telling you because I have spent 2 months thinking about what I learned. And it is this: the right person chooses you when you appear ordinary. The wrong person only appears once you become impressive. I have started seeing someone new. Her name is Rena. We met through a community mentorship program I have been part of for years. She is a teacher, 3rd grade. She has no idea what I am worth, and she is never asked. We talk about her students, about books, about whether pizza counts as breakfast. She laughs at my jokes even when they are terrible. And when I told her I work in operations consulting, she said that sounds stable and meant it as a compliment. I haven't told her about the equity firm yet. Maybe I will eventually. But right now, it doesn't matter because she is choosing me based on who I am when I'm just sitting across from her at a diner on a Tuesday night. Not who I could be at a gala, not what I could offer her social standing. Just me. Here is what I have realized. Lauren didn't lose me because I hid my money. She lost me because she never wanted me without it. And once I understood that, staying became impossible, not because I was angry, but because I deserved to be with someone who sees me, not someone who sees through me to what I can provide. Someone in the comments on my first post said, "Money doesn't change people, it reveals them." I have thought about that a lot. And I think it is true, but I would add this: sometimes the absence of money reveals people even faster. Lauren revealed herself the moment she thought I had nothing to offer her world. And that revelation was the kindest thing she could have given me. I am doing okay now. Better than okay. Actually, if you are in a relationship where you feel like you have to constantly prove your worth, where love feels conditional on what you provide rather than who you are, I hope you find the clarity to walk away, not because the other person is evil, but because you deserve to be chosen for reasons that don't require a resume. I don't regret staying quiet at the gala. I don't regret letting Lauren show me who she was, and I don't regret walking away when I finally understood. Some lessons cost you a relationship, but they give you back yourself. Take care of yourselves. Choose people who choose you. And remember that the best relationships are built on who you are when no one's watching. This is my last update. Thank you for reading. Thank you for the advice, the support, and the occasional reality check. I am good now, really good. And that is all I needed to say.